Hello, this is Uriah from Productive Therapist, and this is a quick episode on my reading lists. So for the last 3 years, I have actually been tracking every single book I read, and then I put those into a couple different blog posts on productivetherapist.com. And interestingly enough, I graduated 2003 from my master's program, and that concluded what was essentially 8 years of college, more than I would have liked it to have been. Nevertheless, for about 10 or 12 years, I found it very difficult, almost impossible to read anything. And then a few years ago, something clicked and I decided to start reading books again. And I'm so glad that I did because it's made a huge difference in my life and in my business. So most of the books that I read are business books, and there's a few memoirs, novels, maybe biographies thrown in for good measure. My secret weapon by far has been Audible audiobooks and long walks. I think of all the books that I've read, a good 75 to 80% have been Audible books. I don't necessarily sit down and stay in one place very well, so I listen to audiobooks when I'm driving in my car, when I'm walking, when I'm doing the dishes, and I can actually get a lot of reading done that way. So in 2019, same as last year, the books were mostly geared towards business with an intentional focus on money mindset. And last year, I made a huge strides in my relationship with success and money. A few results that I wrote about. Productive Therapist grew by 155%, which was essentially smashing my projections. My family and my business became 100% debt-free. It was a fantastic year. And I feel like the reading habit really helped me to grow and move towards all of my goals. In 2020, reading continues to be one of my secrets to success and growth. It really does continually provide me with inspiration, motivation, tons of ideas, and proven paths to reach my goals. One of my virtual mentors is Ramit Sethi, and he talks about how he has a rule around books, where if he's interested in any kind of book, no matter what it is, he buys it without question. Because he feels that for an investment of about $10 to $20, even if there's only one thing that comes out of that book that's beneficial, it's worth the investment. And if there's interest in a book or a topic, he just goes for it. I really like that. I'm thinking that next year I might change up my focus and actually read fewer books, but focus on implementing the content more. I can be a little bit competitive, and I like to beat my past, records. So I like to say that I've read 20 books or I've read 30 books or whatever that is, but I realize that the more important thing is what did I do with that information? It seems to me that if I only read maybe 1 or 2 books every 3 months, but I really apply the info, it would actually end up with a better result. So that's one of the reasons actually that I've been rereading certain books like Profit First from Mike Michalowicz, Virtual Culture from Brian Miles. There's a few others on my bookshelf right now that I'm thinking about tackling again this year, including StoryBrand. So you don't need to be a reader to be a lifelong learner, obviously. You can rely on YouTube videos, online courses, talking to smart people, whatever works for you. I just like listening to books, especially when they're read by the author, and something about that just gets me going. So I'll throw in a recommendation here for Blinkist, and that is a service that provides summaries of books that you can listen to in 5-10 minutes or so. So if you want to consume more content in less time, get the ideas and the good nuggets out without spending, most of these books honestly are about 4 to 10 hours. Blinkist.com is not a bad idea. Whatever source you choose, my encouragement is to seek continual growth in learning, and reading is a good way to do that. You can check out all of my reading lists on Productive Therapist/blog, and I have one for 2018, 2019, and 2020 I'm currently updating as I complete books. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Take care.
This isn't who I wanted to be, she said, as she's looking to her cell phone. Life isn't what I thought it would be, she said, as she waits for love to find her. Yeah. I've just had my heart torn in two, she said, as she reaches out for comfort. I'll never find another lover for me, she said, as she sits in her apartment. Yeah.